Hello everybody and welcome back to the Silicon Nubian YouTube channel where we do all things tech. Today we're going to take a look at the installation of a Linux distribution that I've had my eye on for some time now. We're talking about Chakra Linux version 2017.03, also known as Godel. Chakra Linux is an Arch Linux derivative, but even saying that, that's not really true. Chakra Linux is a fork of Arch Linux. It relies heavily on technologies from Arch Linux, but is no longer compatible with the Arch repositories and packages. Chakra also have moved away from the full rolling release model to embrace what they call the half rolling release model. Let me explain. The developers of Chakra Linux divide up all the packages that make up your Linux distribution, all the software, into two categories. Category A is called Core. That consists of all the software that is very critical for running your system, such as sound subsystems, graphic subsystems, and whatnot. When it comes to updates, these core packages are not updated as soon as possible. They follow a more traditional time-based approach, and packages that would be considered core are updated following predefined schedules, much like other Linux distributions out there. Now, the other category they would classify as applications. These are user space such as office suites, web browsers, media players, and whatnot. These are updated more in the vein of the traditional rolling release, in that they're updated as soon as new versions come out. Why the developers of Chakra have done this is to try to maintain as stable a core system as possible in their Linux distribution. While I have to say that on paper it sounds very good, and I'm very interested in this approach because it still allows you to have bleeding edge software but have a solid core system underneath. Being a Manjaro user, which is also based on Arch Linux, I have not really found it to be unstable per se, but I understand why Chakra's developers would do this, and I applaud them. I think it's a great approach. Also, Chakra has a very good community. They also boast the Calmaris installer, which has been updated in this version to 3.0.1.91. And that's what we're here to take a look at, Calmaris. I said it before as I've come out with videos about installing Linux, and I'll say it again. Installing Linux is at least as easy as installing Windows, folks. It's really that simple, especially if you're only going to be running only Linux on your desktop. So, in this release, we have the new Calmaris installer, which we're going to take a look at, and a few other goodies as well. Here's what we see in front of you is we've booted up the live medium, and we see the interface. Another thing to remember, it's a community developed Linux distribution with an emphasis on KDE and Qt technologies. Okay? User-friendly, powerful distribution, boots in a live CD format, and once again, it's forked from Arch Linux. And it has the usual, automatic hardware detection, configuration, and sports the latest KDE desktop with a variety of tools and extras. If you read a little bit here, we'll see a little bit about it. When it comes to security, Chakra Project install comes with UFW, which can be configured through the system settings. As well, the kernel has built-in options which are security based. Octopi is currently used as the GUI front end, which for Pacman in Chakra. Once again, while they do use Pacman, they do not use the Arch repositories or packages, but they plan to replace it in the near future. I guess when you're a fork, you want to get as far away from the original as you can, in some regards. So let's start the installation because that's what we're after. We're not here to look at the desktop. We're going to do that in the next video. Let's install Chakra, shall we? Very good. Here we have the installer. And we have a section here for show debug information. Don't really need that. We have about, we have the Calmaris 3.0.91 for Chakra Linux. Okay. Chakra support. Puts up Cupzilla, which is their version of a Mozilla, which is beautiful web browser, great web browser actually. Here we go. Known issues. And they even bear their dirty laundry with the known issues. Okay, which really just takes you to their webpage. And release notes. And here it is. Plasma 593, application 1612.3, and frameworks 5.320 available in Chakra. This is the most recent announcement. I'm sure we'll be able to install those if the shipping ISO doesn't come with those versions. So right away, let's get started. English, United States. We have, of course, a list of all the languages you could ever want, as per de rigueur with Linux distributions. Click on Next. Here we have our time zones. We'll keep it as is. The system language will be set to English, Canada. Interesting. It says English US, but as I've selected Toronto, it knows to switch it to English Canada. The numbers and dates and local will be set to English Canada. Very good. Here we have English and default keyboard layout, key map. And here's where things get interesting. We can either erase the whole disk or we can do the manual partition. If we look at the manual partitioning, you create a new partition table, MBR or GPT, and you set up your partitions the way you want them. Of course, this is for, I would say, mid-range and advanced users. If you want to dedicate your system just to Chakra and you want to kick the tires on real hardware, I would just go, in particular if you're newer to Linux, I would just go for the erase disk. And down here we see a representation of what the drive will look like. Here it's empty, and here we have the full disk. We also have the ability to encrypt the system at installation, which is very good. Bootloader location, master boot record, system partition, or do not install bootloader. We'll leave it as it is, or else it won't boot. Next, we give our username. Okay, with your password. Be mindful that in this version of the Chakra installer, login automatically without asking for a password is the standard for it. It's the default. I would take that off for me. For you, you may want to keep it. It's up to you, but just be mindful that it is the default selection, and use the same password for administrator account. That you can take off as well, and you could choose a password for administrator account right out the box. Okay. Next, and here we have the overview, of course, time zone, keyboard, default keyboard model. This is your disk layout, and it's going to tell you exactly what it's going to do in the different partitions. And it's going to use the ext4 file system. So here we go. Next. And the installation has started. Well, with the installation of Chakra, Chakra does support the installation on different file systems, which is very interesting as well. It says here the new Calmaris installer supports installing the distribution on BTRFS and LUKS encrypted partitions. And Calmaris has received lots of partitioning enhancements and bug fixes. Regarding the scope of this video, we didn't go through exactly the partitioning and how to partition your drive and the scheme and whatnot. Just wanted to show you how quickly and how friendly installing Linux, in particular using the Calmaris installer, can be. So we're going to let this thing work, do its magic, and we're going to come back post-installation for a wrap-up. Okay, we're all done. All in all, the installation took less than 10 minutes. 12 minutes if you count going through the process of clicking all over the place. Could have taken maybe another 2 or 3 extra minutes if we actually partitioned our drives and we knew what we were doing, if you were an advanced Linux user. That being said, the installation time is pretty good. It's good for Linux. I mean, we're talking 10 minutes from the time you click on install. Under 10 minutes, sorry. I'd say more between 7 and 8 minutes. Calmaris is very simple. We didn't dig into the deeper aspects that make it such a standout as an installer, such as the partitioning. That's, again, outside the scope of this video. Just wanted to show you how quickly and easy it is to get Linux, a quality Linux distribution, installed on your system without any headache whatsoever. The next video is going to show Chakra in all of its glory, fully installed. We're going to kick the tires and see how it works out. So thanks for watching this video. If you like, give a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends about us. And we'll see you next time.